Are the Lakers actually better off with Dwight Howard over DeMarcus Cousins? You're watching Lakers Report by Chat Sports, all things Lakers. I'm your host, Hannah Kulik, aka Lakerian. Now, before we get into it and break this all down, I want to make sure that you guys hit that subscribe button down below so that you do not miss a single second of all things Lakers. And while you're at it, go ahead and give me a follow on my Instagram at Hannah Rose Kulik and my Twitter at Hannah_Kulik to keep up with all things Lakers, and of course some fitness things as well. If you know me, you know I love my fitness and my workout tips and tricks that I post all the time on my Instagram. So go ahead and subscribe and give me a follow both on my social medias. But let's get into this topic because a lot has happened in Lakerland. You know, DeMarcus Cousins, as we all know, is going to be missing the entire season with a torn ACL. And now we officially have Dwight Howard. He is back. The Lakers signed Howard to a non-guaranteed contract, and this has a lot of people having very mixed emotions. Obviously, you know, back in 2012, 2013, Howard played for LA. It was a complete disaster. It only lasted for a season before he ultimately left that summer during free agency to go play for the Houston Rockets, and he is honestly one of the most, if not the most, hated player to have ever played for the Lakers. Honestly, Laker fans hate him. They boo him like crazy, but now he is back. It's crazy. No one could have expected it. The media is having a field day. A lot of people are questioning, you know, whether or not he's going to be able to fit with this team, whether or not he's going to be able to put his ego aside. Is he going to be healthy? How is this going to work? But at the end of the day, I actually think that DeMarcus Cousins and Dwight Howard, the concerns that we have for Dwight Howard are very similar to the concerns that we had for DeMarcus Cousins. Now that we have Dwight Howard, I thought that we could kind of compare Boogie and Howard today and kind of discuss their potential with this team and then predict some of Dwight Howard's stats for this season. Now, before we start comparing these two, I'm curious, I have to know, what are your initial thoughts of the Lakers bringing Dwight Howard back? Are you happy about it? If you are, type Y down below. If not, type N down below. Now, let's start off by kind of comparing these two stat-wise and kind of talking about some of their future potential for this season. So obviously, you know, both of these guys have struggled through injuries throughout their career, and DeMarcus Cousins unfortunately has yet to prove that he's been able to come back from this Achilles injury, which is one of, if not the most serious injuries a professional athlete can have. We've honestly seen it really deter and really ruin and end a lot of professional athletes' careers, and so far, like I mentioned, Boogie's yet to prove that he's been able to come back and be fully healthy. He obviously, you know, played for Golden State this season, but then suffered from that quad injury. Now he has that torn ACL, so there still are a lot of question marks regarding his health, and if he ever is going to be able to come back and be 100% again. And Dwight Howard, kind of same thing. You know, Dwight Howard's really struggled throughout his career with a lot of back injuries, which are very serious. Last season for the Washington Wizards, he actually only played in 9 games, so he pretty much missed the entire season. But the season before that, for the Charlotte Hornets, he actually played in all 81 games, so he was 100% healthy, and he averaged 16.6 points per game and also grabbed 12.5 rebounds. So he played very well for Charlotte back when he was healthy, which just goes to show if Dwight Howard is healthy, he can definitely be an extremely dominant player. Now, DeMarcus Cousins was an NBA All-Star a couple of years ago, back when he played for the New Orleans Pelicans before he tore that Achilles. But, you know, Dwight Howard is actually an 8-time NBA All-Star. Not only that, Dwight Howard has also, you know, led the league in block shots, in rebounds multiple times. He's made the NBA All-Defensive Team multiple times. He's been NBA Defensive Player of the Year multiple times. He's made the NBA All-Team multiple times. So Dwight Howard has a long list of achievements. Now, so while DeMarcus Cousins, you know, yes, is a very talented player, I guess if you were technically comparing their career stats and their career achievements, Dwight Howard easily wins. You know, there was definitely a time when Dwight Howard was considered one of the best, if not the best centers in the entire league, and one of the best players just in the league in general. So if healthy, he can definitely still be a very dominant player in the league and have a huge impact with this Lakers squad. He really could honestly be that X factor for them. I know a lot of people are talking about, you know, how DeMarcus Cousins was kind of more of that stretch 5 center. He could be able to stretch the floor more, and that's not really Dwight Howard's game. As we all know, Howard is more of a post-up player. But, you know, Dwight Howard in terms of rim protection and defense, it's going to be much better than DeMarcus Cousins would have been. So that's obviously something that the Lakers could definitely use help with, especially on the defensive end, because as we all know, the Lakers defensively the last few years have been pretty darn rough. So Howard's definitely going to be able to bring a little bit of a different side to the game than Boogie would have. Instead of stretching the floor, he's going to be able to provide more rim protection, more defense, more rebounding, which I personally am excited for, and I think is definitely going to be able to help the Lakers greatly. Now, we could not be comparing DeMarcus Cousins and Dwight Howard without talking about these two guys and their personality, because these guys have very unlikable personality traits. DeMarcus Cousins is known for as being a hothead who could honestly just explode at any second, and Dwight Howard is said to be a cancer in the locker room. He's said to have a huge ego, only be after what's best for him and never the sake of the team. So there's obviously a huge question mark this season regardless involving DeMarcus Cousins as to whether or not we were going to be able to keep his temper in check or if he was going to explode. And obviously that was a big concern for a lot of people because he's known, like I said, to just kind of have a huge temper and just be able to explode within 1 second. And that was obviously something that we could not have this season, but now the problem kind of just becomes and turns to Dwight Howard, and can he put his ego aside? Can he accept maybe a little bit more of a different role? And can he really just focus on what's the best for the team and not just what's best for Howard? Obviously, we do not know because we have not started the season yet, but that is a huge question mark going into it. I would expect that, you know, the last couple of years have humbled Dwight Howard and that he should know by now that this is a huge opportunity. This could really propel his career and kind of get him back to where he was before and at least have a really positive impact in his career. In the last couple of years, he's really struggled, especially in terms of, you know, his personality and a lot of teams not wanting to deal with him and a lot of players not wanting to play with him. So this is a huge opportunity for Dwight Howard that I'm really hoping and I'm expecting that he would be able to take advantage of. So hopefully we could have Dwight Howard come in and be a more humble guy, more mature, and just be more of a team player, willing to do whatever it takes to win. But again, I can't make any promises because the season hasn't started. But that's obviously one of the biggest question marks and one of the biggest concerns regarding Dwight Howard. But like I said, you know, we already had those concerns with DeMarcus Cousins and his hothead and his temper, but I am curious, who would you rather have to deal with? Would you rather have to deal with Dwight Howard's big ego? If you would, type E down below, or DeMarcus Cousins' hot temper, type T down below. Alright, so I want to get into some stat predictions for Dwight Howard this season, but before we do, if you do not yet have a FanDuel account, go ahead and DM me on my Instagram at HannahRoseKulik or my Twitter at Hannah_Kulik because I am new to FanDuel as well, and I am starting my own NFL league, my own little game, and I would love to have some Laker fans join me on my team. So go ahead and DM me right now if you do not have a FanDuel account. I will explain how you can set up. It's super easy, it's free, and then of course how you can then join my NFL league. So I would love to have you on, so go ahead and DM me right now. But let's talk about some stat predictions for Dwight Howard this season, because if everything goes as I am predicting, I'm predicting Howard to have a great season. Now, I know a lot of the media experts are saying that Dwight Howard is going to be coming off the bench. He's going to have a very limited role with this team, playing limited minutes, but I do not buy that for a single second. You guys, Dwight Howard has played in 1,044 career games, and he has started in 1,043 of them. So if he's healthy, I have no reason to believe that he's not going to be our starting center, versus opposed to JaVale McGee, who the media experts are saying is still going to be our starter, has played in way less games than that, and he's only started in about 40% of those games. So nothing against JaVale McGee. I think he's a good player. I'm excited to have him on this team, but I think, you know, he's notoriously been known as a career reserve, whereas Dwight Howard has notoriously been known as a career starter. So it would really make no sense, in my opinion, to start McGee over Dwight Howard. Also, in terms of the media saying that Howard is going to play limited minutes and have a limited role, I don't understand where that is coming from either, because Dwight Howard, besides last season where of course he only played in those 9 games because he was injured, he has never never played in a season where he didn't average at least 30 minutes per game, where JaVale McGee, as we all know, has never even come close to averaging playing 30 minutes a game. So I don't really understand where they are getting their math from and where they are thinking that if Dwight Howard is healthy, he's still going to have a very limited role. He's going to come off the bench. He's essentially barely going to even play. I do not understand where that is coming from at all. Now, in terms of this season, obviously there are a lot of factors that can play into this, but some stat predictions for Howard. I am going to, keep my fingers crossed and just pray that he puts his ego aside. He's humbled by this, new opportunity. He's going to just do whatever the best is for this team. He's going to be healthy, so he's going to get those 25, 30 minutes like I think he should get if he's healthy. And I'm going to predict that this season for Dwight Howard, he's going to average 16 points per game, get 11, 12 rebounds, and then 2 block shots. And I think that is easily going to be able to be done for him if, of course, he's healthy. He's getting those minutes that I really believe he's going to get if, of course, all of these, factors that I mentioned before, the health, the ego, all that other stuff, is of course not a problem. But I am curious, what do you guys think Dwight Howard is going to average? Do you agree with the national media? Do you think he is not going to be playing that many minutes? He's going to have a limited role with this team. He's going to come off the bench. Let me know down in the comments below. I can't believe I'm saying this, you guys, but Dwight Howard is a Los Angeles Laker. It still feels kind of weird. I, for one, am not the biggest Dwight Howard fan. I know this video really sounds like I'm kind of, backing him up and being, his biggest hype man, but I'm not the biggest fan of his. But at the end of the day, he is a Laker, so I'm going to put all my bias aside and just root for him. And I think that's what all of us Laker fans should do. I know a lot of us, myself included, are very disappointed that Boogie is not going to be playing for us this season. I was excited to see him play. I was hopeful he was going to be able to get back to his NBA All-Star ways that he was 2 years ago, but at the end of the day, it didn't work out, and I think the Lakers got the best possible replacement for him that they could have gotten, and they actually could have ended up better with Dwight Howard over DeMarcus Cousins, in my opinion. But I am curious, let me know, do you think the Lakers are better off with Dwight Howard, or do you think, nope, DeMarcus Cousins can stretch the floor, he's a much better fit for this team? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, don't forget to give it a double thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe here on Chat Sports, and also follow me on all my social media channels. And until next time, Laker Han is out. Bye, guys.